I would like to call this press conference to order, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Belizeans. Today, we have not come upon this press conference by happenstance. This was a 15-year journey. The alternative parties have been trying to amalgamate for the past 15 years. Last year, in January, we had an alternative party summit in Dangriga. At that summit, key alternative parties and members came and decided to join forces. I was elected as the chairman of the Belize Unity Alliance. The Belize Unity Alliance main function was to link the alternative parties and to keep them linked. I have worked tirelessly over the last year to keep these guys in close communication. 2 weeks ago, we met in Orange Walk with our brothers and sisters from We the People, and we decided that it's time for the shedding our names and to start a national political party. I stepped down as the BUA chairman due to the constitution, and it would have caused conflict of interest. And I also stepped down because I was asked to be the public relations director. We decided that we will stick to our commitment of participatory democracy, and we created a competition on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and we had over 100 names submitted. We then shortlisted 10 names, and then we invited the public once again to vote on their favorite names. Yesterday at midday, with 89 votes, the party name was chosen. Before I mention the party name, it is very important to state that this is a collective commitment for participatory democracy. I now officially and with pride introduce to you, my fellow Belizeans, the Belize Progressive Party. $88.67 today, $88.67 tomorrow, $88.67 forever. I would like to now ask everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
Among hills and valleys where
gentlemen. I will ask my brother, Bobby Lopez, to say a prayer.
Sorry about that. Can we bow our heads, please? Great loving Almighty God, Father, we come before you on this first day of the 10th month, 2015, giving you thanks for life, giving you thanks for the opportunity to breathe, to open our eyes, and to live in this country, Father, this 8,867 square miles that you blessed us with, Father. And so as we gather here today, in your name, to launch this initiative, this group calling themselves Belize Progressive Party, we submit to your will, Father, to do your will, because you have said in your word that you set up leaders and governments and you take them down. And so, Father, if this is the time for us to lead and to serve your people, we are ready. But if this is not the time, God, then you shall close the doors and we shall suffer some more. And you did this in your word throughout the creation of mankind. You allowed suffering until they could suffer no more, and they called upon you for new change. And so, Father God, we submit this morning, and we thank you for every brave soul that has stepped up to make a difference and to create the change that we all want in this 8,867 square miles. In the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ, we ask. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Bob. A government should always take care of its people, especially its poor people, but it should always be taking care of less and less poor, not more and more. $4 billion in debt, and we still have 50% of our Belizean people still living in poverty. I now take this opportunity to introduce the head table, the executive committee. Brother Parker Smith is the chairperson. Sister Jennifer Arzu Williams is the deputy chairperson. She sends her regards. She is in the United States right now. Mariela Koch is the deputy treasurer. She is in Belmopan right now taking care of some business for us. So she also sends her regards. Brother Abdul Nunes is the Secretary General. Our ex-officio non-voting members of the executive. Campaign manager, Brother Robert Lopez. I'd like to point out Brother Roy Rodriguez, who is the chairperson of the Northern Council. We have Brother Patrick Rogers, who is the party leader. Brother Will Mejia, who is the deputy party leader. I am the Public Relations Director and MC for today's press conference. Again, welcome everybody. I would now like to ask Brother Parker Smith, as the chairperson of the executive, for his opening comments.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Just put it right on top of your Brother Parker.
I don't want to squeeze someone's phone.
Yeah.
That's right. One second, okay? All right. All right. Greetings, Belizeans and true friends of Belize, both at home and in the diaspora.
welcome to the dawning of a new socio-economic and political paradigm, or better yet, a new Belize political consciousness concerning our beloved nation. For on this day, Thursday, 1st October 2015, your Belize Progressive Party, henceforth known as the BPP, is officially unveiled. There is no doubt today marks a watershed in the annals of Belize's history. Therefore, one may ask, what is in a name? Admittedly, this is a valid question, and in response, I submit that a name should embody the essence of that which it signifies or represents. Seated here before you are true Belizean patriots who, like the Honorable Philip Golson, came to the bold realization that the two-party system in Belize is corrupt and that it possesses no viable potential to move Belize forward in a progressive and sustainable fashion. Much like the Honorable Gentleman to whom I referred, we have put words to action. Thus, we find ourselves here, and I take this opportunity to signal that the BPP is not comprised of politicians. I'll repeat that. The BPP is not comprised of politicians. For the record, we are agents of change. The name Belize Progressive Party represents the coming together of disparate, not desperate, but disparate groups, entities, political parties, and elements in that of a progressive people's alliance. Therein, which egos and agendas, meaning those other than working for the collective good of this nation, have been set aside. It represents, in the purest of fashions, selflessness, commitment, sacrifice, unity of purpose, and faith, which inevitably translated into joining forces to form a truly national political party and, in effect, the only viable alternative to the scourge that has infected Belize. Indeed, I refer in such fashion to the two political parties that persist in fleecing this nation of its resources, while disrespecting its citizens and, quite frankly, denigrating the essence of our nation state, which is the rule of law. For without respect for the all-important element of good governance, we find Belize continuously spiraling into the depths of that of a kleptocracy, or dare I say, quite possibly, an ineptocracy, which I must admit is a word I most recently learned and certainly believe is an appropriate descriptor of the state of our nation following 34 years of independence in which the UDP and the PUP have shared equal time at the helm. If you listen closely to the Independence Day addresses given by the respective leaders of those parties, you will note neither could avoid admitting the failing systems and structures, as well as the incompetence in government to which they have subjected the people of this nation. On the topic of our coming together, I would be remiss not to recognize the role played by the Belize Unity Alliance under the guidance of its former chair, Mr. Charles Leslie, Jr., as to the ultimate brokering of this amalgamation. For without their persistence, this day may very well not have come to pass. So let us give Charles a I am therefore overjoyed, as he mentioned earlier, to not acknowledge Charles's contribution, as well as noting that with the completion of said goal, he has brought his talents to the BPP. Accordingly, I must also acknowledge the steadfast and critical role played by Mr. Bobby Lopez for his decisive and pragmatic contributions laid the foundation for what we present here today. Also key toward making this amalgamation a reality are our brothers and sisters in the struggle, many of whom are here with us today and have made the necessary sacrifices which resulted in the formation of your Belize Progressive Party. I must give mention of the People's National Party, We the People, and all others who made this bold step. I say without hesitation, our foundation is the acknowledgement of the supremacy of the Almighty, and with that comes the necessary vision, and above all, humility that shall keep us grounded. Therefore, given our absolute commitment to good governance, principles, and practices, unlike what we have seen and experienced by way of other political affiliations, in the BPP, there shall be none among us who are deemed more equal than others. Let it be known, we are not naive, for we know there are naysayers. And to them we say, your negativity serves as fuel for our fire to bring about a keen awareness of and adherence to the principles of good governance and the rule of law. Our approach shall involve the application of open source governance, otherwise known as open government, in which collaboration is paramount. Through the use of instruments such as referenda and other reform methods, Belizeans shall be empowered to assist in the decision-making processes. This approach demonstrates participatory democracy at work, and most significantly signals the political will to effect the much-needed systemic changes to our governance apparatuses. Therefore, given that your Belize Progressive Party is inherently positive, I believe the current vernacular which says, powered by haters, is succinctly applicable. Therefore, I shall make it absolutely clear that your Belize Progressive Party is not here to replace the UDP, nor the PUP. Our purpose is to change the game. In effect, no game shall be played, for this party represents a new Belize political consciousness in which governance is inclusive and not selective as it is currently practiced by the powers that be. I wish to share with you two nuggets of insight from none other than Albert Einstein, in which he stated, and I quote, "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. And also, all that is valuable in human society depends on the opportunity for development accorded the individual. As such, I ask that you kindly open your minds and hearts to these concepts and apply them to the Belize political environment, in that the BPP represents the individual to which Einstein referred. In so doing, I trust you shall uncover precisely why the Belize Progressive Party exists and what we strive to achieve for the nation of Belize. Of course, the BPP's political leader, party leader, Mr. Patrick Rogers, whom in short order you will formally meet, shall elaborate on the political aspects of our mission. I submit that our slogan, 8867 today, 8867 tomorrow, and 8867 forever, is not only demonstrative of our commitment to ensuring Belize's sovereignty and territorial integrity, it is also our rallying call to all Belizeans and true friends of Belize, irrespective of your whereabouts, to take the proverbial leap of faith and join us in this most noteworthy, meaningful, and necessary effort to save the nation of Belize now before we lose it. In closing, I thank one and all for attending, whether you're physically present with us here or tuned in via the various forms of media. We look forward to your involvement by way of supporting the Belize Progressive Party in any fashion you deem suitable. but in particular, on Wednesday, 4th November, 2015, Election Day, the day on which more than any other, the power lies expressly in the hands of the people, I ask that you vote for substantive change by voting for the BPP. I thank you.
Brother Parker, thank you very much for that eloquent presentation. When we went to Corozal, my apologies, when we went to Orange Walk to meet with potential candidates and people who wanted to support it for a new party, I had the pleasure of meeting a wonderful Belizean woman. Ladies and gentlemen, I now take this opportunity to present candidates. They will step up and make an official declaration. I call on Mrs. Edna Diaz.
I, Edna Doris Diaz, hereby declare my candidacy for Corozal Southeast constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
Thank you. I call on Lucille Tech.
I, Lucille Tech, hereby declare my candidacy for Corozal Southwest constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
I call on Hipólito Bautista.
I, Hipólito Bautista, hereby declare my candidacy for the Orange Walk South Division and commit myself to serve without fear or favor, and I will disclose my income, my assets, and my liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
I call on Roy Rodriguez.
I, Roy Rodriguez, hereby declare my candidacy for Corozal Bay constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
I call on Ian Cacho.
I, Ian Butch
Cacho, hereby declare my candidacy for Pickstock constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
I call on Robert Lopez.
I, Roberto Antonio Lopez, aka Bobby, hereby declare my candidacy for Belize Rural South constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will willingly disclose my hard-earned income, my hard-earned assets, and any liabilities I may have in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act. Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Williams is not with us right now. He is on his way, but he will be declaring for Kyle South.
Andrew Williams.
Yes, Andrew Williams. I call on party leader Patrick Brothers.
Greetings, Belize. I, Patrick Rogers, hereby declare my candidacy for Collett constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
I call on Will Mejia, Deputy Party Leader.
I, Will Mejia, hereby declare my candidacy for Toledo East, which includes Sarstoon Island. And commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
Last but not least, I, Charles Leslie Jr., hereby declare my candidacy for Belmopan constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act. My apologies. I now call on Adam Palomo. Last but not least, my apologies.
I, Hector Adan Palomo, hereby declare my candidacy for Corozal North constituency and commit myself to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, assets, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention of Corruption Act.
Thank you. My apologies once again. My oversight. We went to bed last night at 2 o'clock. We have a lot of work cut out for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have other candidates that will be declaring in the next few days, and we will be...
The goal is 31.
The goal is 31, and we will be announcing their names as soon as they declare. I want to finish where I started off. It is an honor to acknowledge the presence of Albert Moore. Where is he?
I saw him step in. Mr. Moore. Moore, you wouldn't mind stepping forward?
Mr. Moore was one of the persons who submitted his name to our contest, and Mr. Moore's name, the Belize Progressive Party, got the most votes. Mr. Moore,
I can't say how much I am pleased. I want to tell a true story. When the amalgamation was coming together, we had to start a chat group, and I can show you because I'm not afraid. We opened to show you that the first name that was selected for our chat group was Progressive Alliance. And I have not talked to you in years, Mr. Moore. All right. And when we launched this, we had a lot of naysayers telling us that, oh no, no, we don't want, oh no this, oh no that. And we took it humbly because it wasn't about us. This was about true commitment to participatory and inclusive democracy. And we were prepared in this leap of faith to take whatever name ended up being the winning name, and to have seen the divine hand and inspiration that translated into what has taken place today. Because his name was among 100. And then it was narrowed down, and let me tell you the criteria why it was narrowed down. It was narrowed down because we said, read the rules, and the rules was, please provide a summary, support, rationale as to why you have picked that name. You can't just throw out a name without saying why you picked the name, because a name has meaning. And his had a logical, rational support along with others, because I'll tell you, the Belize Freedom Party was a close second.
Yeah, very close.
And
that was submitted by Stephen Okeke.
Freedom Party was Freedom Party from you, Mr. Okeke? I'm not sure. I know Mr. Okeke submitted one or two, but we gave preference to those who had a write-up and who convinced the executive, because it was the executive that narrowed it down to 10. Okay? And so I am so pleased. We sent a message to Mr. Moore yesterday thanking him and inviting him as a guest of honor. We didn't hear from you, sir, otherwise we may have it. But I would like to interject now, with the permission of it, to say a few words on why you chose the Progressive name, because yours became the winning name, and in a leap of faith, we accepted it very humbly, very willingly, very excitingly. If you mind, you can have, if you don't mind, a few words.
If you don't mind, Mr.
Just a few words as to why, how you came about that name.
Well, firstly, let me say that I have always been following this concept of a multi-party system as opposed to a two-party system for Belize. And I've always been interested in governance and how we are governed. And I've always felt that we need to be about progress, and progress across the board, not only progress of tangible things, but progress of peoples as well. And so I thought that for any party, they have to come with a progressive agenda, and that progression must be a continuous thing. It must not stand still. And these are some of the thoughts that went into the name and why I suggested to use the word progressive. Progressive suggests moving forward, never standing but moving forward. It connotes advancing connotes growth, among other things. So those are some of the thoughts that I had, why I suggested the word progressive.
Mr. Moore, you participated in a historic event in Belize. This has never ever been done before in the political history of Belize, where we enshrine in our principles participatory democracy, participation of everybody from day one. Moving on to the agenda, because we are getting to the deadline. When we went to Orange Walk to meet our brothers and sisters in Orange Walk, I will talk from my personal experience. I met this woman, and her first words were, "I am not formally educated," and then she spoke, and we were all in awe thereafter. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome a very powerful, strong, dedicated Belizean woman, and we have great respect for her and for all Belizean women. You guys are our mothers and our mentors, and you guys hold the fabric of this nation together. I welcome with pleasure Edna Diaz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. I am your humble servant, Edna Diaz, a farmer and a mother of 5 children, 4 girls and 1 boy, and I'm from Progreso, Corozal. I am your candidate for the Belize Progressive Party for the Corozal Southeast. A mis compañeros en Progreso, muy buenos días. As a woman farmer of the year 2005, I have always fought for farm, for justice, for equality, and as farmers, I understand that we are the salt of this earth, and we work hard to provide food for our children and for our nation. We need to take care of the farmers of this nation. We need to take care of our children. As they are the future of this country. En mi aldea se refieren a mí como kikiriki, and that means in English bantam rooster, because they say I like to fight for worthy causes. And now, as a woman, I can proudly say that I'm going to fight for my area also, so that we can see true progress in the Corozal Southeast. And especially I have a message for my fellow Belizean women, that we need to step up and take part in being part of this change here in Belize. It's time to stop taking it easy, every time they step on you. It's time for our women to stand up, and this is the time to say that the door is open. Belize Progressive Party has its door open for more women who want to be candidates. What I see most important here in our country is to be firm on stopping corruption. And because it's a cancer that must be eliminated. So I call on all Belizeans to make our children proud of you and make Belize proud of you and follow you. Thanks to all of you who came here and to those who are listening and to the nation on a whole, but especially to the support in Progreso and Corozal Southeast constituency.
Thank you, Edna. What you're doing takes a lot of courage in Belize today. And I would like to personally let you know that you will have her full support. I would like to acknowledge your daughter who is with you today. And she's your support, right? We have to protect the family unit in this country. The family is the structure, it's what holds this country and all countries together. So leading up to November 4th and the days and weeks after, we will have a moratorium on foreclosures. We have to stop the banking system from kicking people out their homes, people. We cannot have families being broken apart. We will pass a usury law, a truth in lending law to control the interest rates that are keeping our people as debt slaves. I would like to call on Brother Bobby Lopez, the campaign manager, to give his report.
Good morning again. I want to say that I am humbled that our party leader, Patrick Rogers, has asked me to please take the helm and the role of national campaign manager for the next 34 days. Isn't it interesting? As of today, guys, we are 34 days. So it is Belize at 34 days to the new dawn, that's right, to the revolution, to the change. And so, having run in 5 elections, having committed, and I want to say, we don't like to use the word proud, humbly, we have always published our campaign financing. We have always challenged both parties to do the same. And up to today, after 34 years, we have not seen a budget for any one of them. We have not seen a financial report for any one of them. We don't know where the money comes from. We don't know how the money is spent. But we know, as the Prime Minister said on February 26, 2008, when he was asked by Adele Ramos, Mr. Prime Minister, what are you going to do about campaign finance legislation? And his very words were this. And you can look it up on the internet because I always do to remind me. How can we stop the big boys from giving money under the table? And I want to ask the Honorable Prime Minister, who is on the other side of the table taking the money? Because that's the root of corruption. And that's why we are here in this place. The Belize Progressive Party will stop the big boys from taking money under the table, because we will owe nobody no concession, no land, no tax-free holiday. And so with that, they have laughed us to scorn when we said we were only spending $7,000 the first time as Be Safe. And then we went up the following time when we got 6 candidates and 7, and we went up to about 15,000 in Belmopan. And in 2009, when we beat the PUP, because history has recorded that this little group beat the PUP, and I'm speaking of my former affiliates or affiliated group, beat the PUP with around 25,000 in 2009, and they spent hundreds of thousands. And we beat them in the city that they created, Belmopan. So I want to tell the people of this country, money doesn't vote, people do. Stop selling your vote. We went on in 2012 and 2015, just 7 months ago, and traditionally, guys, in any constituency that we've run, Patrick has run before, my brother here has run before, Will has run before. With our hard-earned money, we spend around 30 to 35,000 per constituency. And that's very conservative, and that's pinching it to the no. And that's using a lot of in-kind support from people who aren't charging us to campaign. But I'm pleased to present and have a copy for the media. Nomination fee, elections and boundaries, 31 times 200, 6,200. I'll go very fast, guys. Canvassers, 4 per constituency at $100. 5 weeks, 500 times 124, 62,000. Office managers at $250 per week. 1250 for the 5 weeks times 31, 38,750. T-shirts, 31 candidates. I'm doing 620 campaigners, because we figured 4 campaigners per constituency. 620 we have at $10 a piece, which these cost right here, made in Belize, $10 a piece. I want to say thanks to the gentleman who has launched and given us such a good rate. 6,200 flyers and handouts, 1,000 flyers per constituency at 50 cents is 15,500. Print ads weekly. I'm talking a full page ad, or we do 2 half pages. They run about 600 per full page. That's $3,000, and the ads will be one for the whole party. Radio ads, they're $30 a pop. We figure 10 daily times 34 days is 10,220. TV ads, 3 daily, that would give us 102 at $100. I'm hoping a TV station will give us for 100. 10,200 also. Public meetings, campaign, we intend to do 31. And actually our platform was on its way, but had some mechanical problems and it had to turn back. But we are ready to hit the road, guys, all right? So I assure you, we'll be there. Is our backdrop. This will be the backdrop at every public meeting to remind people that after 34 years, this is what we have. Let's move on quickly. Fuel, 31 constituencies at 1,000, 31,000. Phone, 31 offices at 400, 12,400. Food, meetings and election day for 124 campaigners. I mean, we might eat on that day, guys, by the way. 6,200 office supplies, 31 for $250, $50 per week. I'm going to be the one buying all the supplies for all the offices and delivering it to you all. Banners, flags, ads, $600 a piece, $37.20. That is what this banner cost us, folks. $600, okay? I'm going to get 1 per constituency, and we're also trying to get some smaller ones for you all they're being sent to the printer today with our party name on it. This one was done a couple days ago. Excuse me?
Bumper stickers.
Yes, yes. Well, actually, I have banners, flyers, flags, stickers, 637, 2,000. Mobilization election day, we're looking at 5,000 per constituency. We're gonna try to raise this, guys, all right? 155,000 and miscellaneous 31 at 515,000 for a total of 432,600. It sounds like a lot, but divided by 31 is only 13,954 per constituency. And I want to say that when we announced yesterday, right? Did you do the maths? Divide that by 100. Well, I can do that actually. Okay, this is my challenge to the government. Not to the government. We're for public funding of campaigns, but we'll get to that. I'm appealing to 100 business persons to kindly supply us with $4,326. 100 people, business people. Don't tell me you can't do that. I and my brothers are right here to support me. I normally put in our campaign, especially for my own, 10, 15,000. We have a policy that over 10, you must disclose. We must know who you are because we don't want no strings attached. But we're asking for 4,326, 100 people. So I'm gonna kick off, guys, and I'm gonna be giving the first $4,326 to the campaign. And I want to say that I do have already, between yesterday and today, $10,000 from two different people who I shared this with. Yesterday we were looking at was it $500,000? Yes, we were looking at 500,000. Divided by 100 is 5,000 per businessman. Not that we're open. You want to give me $1, $5, $10, $100, whatever you want to give us. But what I'm saying is to level the business playing field in this country. A businessman would gladly invest that and not expect nothing in return. And we're not talking about the big boys. We're talking about an ordinary businessman who just simply wants the level playing field to operate. They would. But if they want to give 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is, we can raise this money and we can make sure that our constituencies and our candidates have the best chance. And again, I say, it is expensive, but we can do this. You already saw what happened just a few weeks ago when our PM said proudly, I negotiated the settlement for BTL on my own unilaterally. Okay, so you know, we can only assume and suspect how much money will be coming from the Ashcroft group to the UDP. Think about it. We've gone full circle. The big boy is back in the swing. And you know who is gonna have tax-free benefits indefinitely. It must stop. I want to commend you in your humble words that you have identified corruption as the root cause of what's happening. And the root of corruption is campaign financing, Ms. Edna Diaz. That is where. And so I am calling out because if you notice media, and you all need to get a little more upfront in your investigations, in the last 60 to 90 days, they knew election was coming early. Okay, if the Prime Minister lied to us and said it won't be this year, because they started giving out the $2.5 million for a state football stadium in San Pedro. The kickback is on the way. $2 and change million in PG, the kickback is on the way. And all the little contracts that they're hurriedly trying to finish before election day, believe me, the kickbacks are there. And I'm going to sue me if I want. I know the kickbacks are there. And I want to call right now, because we got information yesterday that the social security loan that was given to an entity in this country, and who a little cry went up, but it was hush hush quickly, had a very lucrative kickback. So you know that that loan from our hard-earned contributions is gonna be that going. That's not to get paid back. Mark my word, I hope to live to see when that company goes under, and our tree and another tree. We had a time with 3.3 million from social and time. Why is it that 3 million lend out 3 million and not collect? This time it was in the form of a loan to some entity down south, but I got good reason, I had good rumors, but I tell you good, no good, and I want you all to investigate, media, because cabinet is a little nervous that the word they get out that 1 million came back to the party. All right, doing a work, media, doing a work, our hard-earned money. All right, our hard-earned social security money. That when our people need it for sick and accidents, they have for the big and go back and go back and go back. The Progressive Party will stop that. I'm telling you, I want right now before I leave, because I was speaking to a student just within the last 48 hours, studying in Cuba, who said that the embassy of Belize in Cuba stinks of corruption, and I'm calling for an audit, and it's a very simple audit, guys, because we're going to hear a little more from the party leader, and I won't take away from him, but I'm calling because I will call out, you know, if you're not giving the students their full stipend that they signed on to, and things are hard in Cuba, but when our students go there for 7-8 years to become a doctor, and they have to come back here because that's the agreement, to serve this country, don't shortchange them. And that is what's happening in Cuba right now. And I understand that the ambassador is being recalled. Of course, they're all recalled when they call election, because they have a campaign and hope that they'll be reassigned to another lucrative spot somewhere in the world using our taxpayers. Well, that will stop. I'm telling you, on November 4th, we're going to run our ambassadors through the Senate for approval. Okay? And I'm telling you, every ambassador will have to fall under the Prevention of Corruption Act too. Because right there, the hustling will take place with the passports. And right there, then the cream way. It has to stop that for you hard-earned money. On that note, I'm saying, guys, we do have about $15,000 ready to kick off, okay? So we will be ordering, we already ordered 100 t-shirts. That's the first $1,000, okay? This venue and the expenses to get our group here was around $600. You spend money, the money goes. But we can show you where every penny is spent, and where every penny comes from, and it comes with no strings attached, and I will see to that. Before I close, I want to call out on my supporters in Belize Rural South. I have run twice in that area, and I have garnered right around a little over 300 votes in both times, right? And I want to ask you all, because I won't have the time, I accepted a role in this for the next 5 weeks, that every single person that stood up here is going to need my support. And I have committed to it, but I want to call on them, because I'm telling you, if each one of you can convince one person per week for the next 5 weeks, yours truly can win that election, and I can serve you without fear or favor. That's not too much to ask. So I'm calling on my little army, my little congregation. Put 332 people in a room. It's quite an army, it's quite a church. Okay? I'm asking you all, please, get out there and convince 5 people for me. You make the 6. So if we can do that, we can win Belize Rural South. I am going to get out there, but as campaign manager, national campaign manager, I will be from Toledo to Corozal, Belize to Benque. Please, Belize Rural South, you can do this for me. I've run twice in your area, and you know I mean business, and I will be there to serve you. This time I can't meet all of you all, I can't walk all the streets. I need you to step up now. If you want the change will come from you. Thank you very much, God bless.
moving right along, I would like to call Deputy Party Leader Will Mejia.
Okay, I won't be long. As you know, that we have 34 more days to do the job that we need to do to replace the PUDP system. I just want to pledge to the people of Belize that on behalf of the party that we will do our best to rid this country of corruption. We will do our best to start export more than we import. I'm so happy that a farmer had actually stepped up, because you know Belize could be the breadbasket of Central America and the Caribbean. There's no reason why we have to continue to import food into this country. Where I'm from, 20 years ago, the Toledo district used to export rice. Today we are importing rice. We heard of millions and millions and millions of dollars being spent here in Belize City. Petro-Carib funds that every one of us will have to pay back. And none of it, none, have gone towards helping the poor farmers.
That's right.
So ladies and gentlemen, every Belizean, it's your responsibility. You've always urged us, the third parties need to get together, the third parties need to get together, they need to get together. Well, today we are together. I'm calling on each and every Belizean to step up to the plate come November 4th, because you can make that difference. I don't care how much backfills they will come with or how much promises they will come in. Ladies and gentlemen, for 34 years, 17 years, each one of them had the opportunity to govern this country, and we haven't had the country that we so rightfully deserve. So I just want to thank each and everyone for coming out today, especially the media, for coming out and so that you can spread the word to the rest of the country. I want to thank you all for coming out on November 4th. I expect to see you all step up to the plate and give us that next alternative. Lastly, before I leave, any one of you who's out there who have not stepped up to the plate, this is your time to do it.
That's right.
Thank you.
I can tell you the government in power will spend about $50 million to get you to vote for them to put them back in power for a third term, so that they can tell you in March that they will raise taxes on you. GST will go to 15%, so that you can realize at that point that not even ramen noodles are able to afford to eat. That's why they call this election. Of course, party leader will elaborate on that fact. I would like to now call out Andrew Williams. He has run before in elections in Belmopan. To declare your candidacy.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Williams. I live in Belmopan. I will read as I was instructed here. That I, Andrew Williams, hereby declare my candidacy for Kyle South constituency and commit to serve without fear or favor, and will disclose my income, asset, and liabilities in accordance with the Prevention and Corruption Act. All I can ask is that the red and the blue and whosoever else color do the same. It's a futile request, but I hope they at least declare something, even if it's ignorance. If I could take a little 30 minutes at a time, Mr. Chairman.
30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds. 30 seconds of your time. I could talk for 30 minutes. 30 seconds of your time. I'd just like to talk to the Belizean people in the whole, not just Kaya South or Belmopan or anywhere else. I'd just like to talk to the people directly. This is your opportunity. This is opportunity. I won't say it's the last, but this is your opportunity to step up. And for those people who say and claim that they love their children, they love their grandchildren, leave the party affiliation alone. It's for the best of the country that we are stepping up. Every single one of us here were born or raised in either a red or blue family. But we understand that it doesn't work. It hasn't worked, and it's not going to continue to work. Don't ever forget that, as my mom used to tell me, how does the saying go? It's, promise is a comfort to a fool. And you're going to get a lot of promises. You're going to get a lot of promises this next 34 days. So it's up to you whether you want to be a fool. And it's like Bobby always say, fool to talk, but not fool to listen. You know, you're going to hear a lot of nonsense on the radio shows and on the television shows. Just sift through the foolishness, sift through the nonsense. Because we're all adults here and we all understand foolishness when we hear it. I won't get into too much name calling, but again, my name is Andrew Williams and I'm running for Kaya South.
Very good point, Brother Andrew. I run as an independent in Placencia. No party affiliation. I got 100% of my manifesto completed by working with the business community and the people and gaining consensus on everything. That's how I got my job done. I would like to now call on Party Leader Patrick Rogers for his remarks.
Greetings, Belizeans at home and abroad. I took the liberty to type out something which I don't normally do. I prefer impromptu because of an heart to the brain to the mouth, as Brother George says. But needless to say, with the time running out on us, I want to circumvent more written presentation so I want to get a feeling of where the Belize Progressive Party is at. I am humbled that these brothers and sisters keep referring to me as party leader, when in effect that I am a political leader of a new Belizean consciousness that has each and every member sitting at this head table and in this front row that are candidates being capable, competent, and have the testicular fortitude to be a national leader for this movement. It is with great honor that I stand here, knowing that my brothers and sisters determined that I should be selected to be the political leader until such time as our body can grow to hopefully 31 candidates within the next 2 weeks' time. Getting back to what we are about, it's not about the self. We understand clearly that this struggle we've taken on may turn out to be a multi-generational struggle, in the sense that we have changed already, Belize. Each and every single member at this head table have already changed. I am Belize, you are Belize. But until the majority of Belizeans accept the fact that Belize can never, ever be changed, until you look yourself in the mirror and said, Belize have changed today because I have changed today. Until that message can be introspectively identified, we will have to just keep doing what we are doing, which is to say, keep on doing what we're doing with some modifications along the way until you all get the sense we not got no way to go. And we as individuals are doing this for the rest of us. So the win, when it comes, it won't be for Patrick. It won't be for Brother Charles, Brother Bobby, Brother Will. It won't be for any of the candidates. It won't be for the executive members who are not candidates. It will be a win for Belize, for the people of Belize. And for that to happen, you have to take ownership of this Belize Progressive Party. money or you invest time. In business, we call it sweat equity. So we will win when enough Belizeans understand they need to invest some sweat equity in this new Belizean political consciousness. We will be going door to door. We won't have any money to go into our pocket and say, oh there. That is not how we operate. You will not be taking ownership of this party if we are doing that. Who would take ownership that the oligarchy that would have given us had we accepted the $500,000? Because when the oligarchy they donate, they're willing to give $500,000, you know. But we had to explain that we're not about forming a liberal party here, Belize. We're not about forming a liberal party that would have gladly accepted $500,000 from the oligarchy. We're about forming a labor movement. So our ideology, our philosophy is based on labor. We are, in effect, the Labor Party of Belize. If I could have chosen a name, that would have been the name that I would have chosen. However, it is not about Patrick. It's about our collective wisdom that we trust. We always figure that there is no way the I can be right when the we is of a different opinion. So it is with humility, Mr. Moore, that we accept the Belize Progressive Party, that we know the Belizeans have given us that name. But there were countless people who voted for that name, with the exclusion of the executive here. Oh, you voted?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
That's a very
Yeah,
the plan was that we were not supposed to vote.
But
so
I'm the
that-
ex-official.
okay, I'll take that. We hardly get to vote. The political officers cannot vote on our executive. This is what sets us apart. I'm not a party leader in the sense of Francis Fonseca or Dean Barrow. I work for my executive. My executive no work for me. I have to go there to the executive like every other political leader here and put to them our position and make sure that it's good for Belize, and then the executive may vote that yes, Patrick, yes, Bobby, Charles will be on. You can proceed. But it is not a top-down mentality where I will come and say, I, as the leader, know what is best for you, Belize. We have a concept of what is good, but we need in time to get into the different divisions we're contesting and take that concept that is a bird's eye view of what is good down to the local level to identify the key issues with you all. 5 weeks is a lot of time. We're not intimidated with 5 weeks by no means. The problem is that although we have ideas that we're formulating into policies, we do not put the cart before the horse. We were caught literally off guard because we were at the point of bringing more independence on board, some of them still wavering as of today. But I'm sure before the nomination day on the 16th, we will have over 20 candidates presented. Each and every single organization or individual have been made stronger by this amalgamation. So that 300 and odd votes back, expect that to more than double indeed, because it is a known fact that the collective effort will yield more than if we add up the individual efforts and get the sum. So yes, we are very, very excited today to say that a new political consciousness has emerged, and it has emerged with a lot of respect, a lot of humility, a lot of honor, and a lot of honesty. Because those are the things that we consider the glue that brought us together, that will keep us together. We give respect to each other. We always understand it's never about the I, that we were in effect raised up from amongst brothers and sisters to be called political leaders, but it is not about us, because one leader listen to the constituency and go do what the constituency said. One leader now rule over the people and come and say, I will build you on dam. It no matter that one dam we want to kill our people with mercury, where for 50 years will not pay taxes, where for 50 years they don't have to pay for utilize the water resource. And that is the entity that the Prime Minister should have nationalized if we want to nationalize electricity utility. He could have left BEL alone. The workers would have eventually owned that place like they should have, and then nationalize BECO. But the foreign direct investors have gotten away without paying tax for 10, 20, 30-year periods with an option to renew for the exact number of years that they have. And hence the reason PUP and UDP can only pay lip service to Honobilis that they will give free education to Six Farm, that they want to do this. It's a promise to a fool, because until you change the revenue structure, the way you collect revenues in this country, we will only have so much monies to be able to provide projects and programs with. So when we say we have a concept but we can't give you the detail, because although I've been trying to get my hands on the actual number of lost revenues, which is the way the donor countries look at Belize, lost revenue for this thing we call fiscal incentives or concessions. These companies get away with not paying taxes that would exceed the collective amount when you add up customs, immigration, all the other tax sources in this country. Every country that has ever been allowed to tax the foreign direct investors is considered a wealthy donor country. But every country that follows this foreign direct investment model that have yielded 55% poverty, that have yielded, 55% uneducated people, 45% poverty. This is what foreign direct investment have brought us, because they have not been able to tax the foreign direct investors. So that is why we're saying we're a Labour Party. We're a Labour Party. If the Labour unions did the right thing, they would have had about 6 to 7 candidates with us here right now today. We worked very hard at bringing that for you, Belize. But of course, the PM, in his demented mind, went ahead and dabbed everybody hand with that Petro-Carib money. And everybody feel beholden to this man now, that, oh, I benefit, so I can't call it corruption. Because you see, that is all it comes down to. Everybody benefiting from corruption under the UDP have nothing to say about corruption. Where is the ACB today? Association Concerned About Barrow. I'm sorry, did I say Barrow? Where are they today? I mean, I could tell you some high positions wrong in a government, statutory bodies, ambassadors and things like that. But except for Brother Jeremy Schooners, I haven't heard any other ACB talking. Now, I'm saying this to make the point that when in opposition, you are here, all of the ACB come back with a new name again, because that game just threw up an organization before the election to try and critique the issue of corruption. And then basically, when they're in government, they mount up on mute. Well, we have been consistently saying, Belize, that there's a direct correlation between corruption, which is crime committed with a pen, and the mayhem in the streets, right? Which are the criminals using guns. The more the corruption go up with the pen, the less resources are available to put in place safety nets for our brothers and sisters. And hence the reason we have mass dropouts from school, we have no access to health care. All of those things are a direct result of not having the resources that were depleted through corruption. So yes, the Belize Progressive Party has a zero tolerance and corruption position. Because we understand, as the National Campaign Manager says, that the root of corruption is right there at campaign financing. So we would have loved to be in a society where the government in effect provide whatever million, $500,000, $1.5 million to each of the respective parties to do their campaign. We would have loved to be in a real democratic society that has fixed election dates, so we could have continued this process we started and not have to circumvent it and end up just to look for candidates where we were actually actively recruiting candidates. Now we have to put out a request to you all. We didn't have time to reach you. Me and Bob and Will were taking personal visits from Toledo to Corozal, Cayo, San Pedro to do recruiting. But with them calling the election 3 years and 8 months, we now have to get into our respective areas. And if you need to see us, I kind of have to come meet me in a Collett, because the truth is, I intend to meet as much people as I can in Collett and take our message to them. Because we don't have money, we have our message, our very real message, that if you want change, you vote for change. PUP UDP, as we call them, PUDUP, they both represent conservative right-wing capitalist parties. Now, there's this vacuum, as I said, for this liberal party that many people in this country were looking and hoping that the BPP had moved along that line. Had we moved along that line and saying, yeah, we know what tax, we allow if we go through just like, same old game, we don't may have to beg for $500,000. Yeah, we may have done about $1.5 million in our kitty. But because we've been adamant that we consider ourselves a labor movement frightens them because they understand that when the power changes, the tax regime will change. And once the workers understand that the change paradigm will alleviate some of that burden. We're the most taxed society in this hemisphere. We're at 25% personal income tax. None of the corporations in this country they pay that. I never know that true. On the back of the working class, this government gets its money. And every copper you borrow, that on the back of the working class, you can take the money out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund and pay them loans. So we're saying, let's be real, Belize. When I want to change this game, I'm an accountant by degree. That's what I am. I know numbers. They can't throw numbers at me. I'm able to see right through anything they throw at me, like the BTL fiasco when they give Michael Ashcroft $45 million from way back when they said Channel 5 offered Michael Ashcroft, because they know Michael Ashcroft used part of the $22.5 million US that he borrowed from his own bank to purchase Channel 5. But you see, the lawyers weren't willing to pay an accountant 1% of $45 million, which would be close to $500,000. And myself or any auditor, accountant could have gone in there and showed them, see the rest of the $45 million that Mr. Ashcroft spent that didn't benefit BTL. Now, if you hear the Prime Minister going to meet with this man and unilaterally make one deal to put not 45 million now, but 97 million of Belizean money given away, because it's his bank now that will collect 52 million in interest, Belize. That's what has him so happy about this. So we're saying the BPP, if elected on November 4th, any one of our members, because this is what you need to understand. All we don't need to win. We don't need 60. If one of us were to get in that house, things change, Belize, because there would be no more secret documents. Anything that should be known by people will be brought out of that honorable house to consult with our people the way governance should have been done. So had I been in that house, I assure you that we would have brought up the matter that, Mr. Prime Minister, immediately after you nationalized BTL, you should have sent Michael Ashcroft a bill for 45 million. Then we now may have to talk about interest on top of 45 million that BTL did not spend, please. And just to give you one example of why accountants are needed in government. All right, you look at BEL again, 34 million invested by Fortis. Not another dollar. Not another dollar. From way back in 1998, then chancelled the workers, not getting a raise, not pay bonuses or nothing, and then they made super profits that they put back into the company, knowing that one day they will be able to record a huge capital gain by only investing $34 million in Belize. So this is why we're saying we are of the opinion that the BEL Workers Union needs to own BEL. Once elected, will ensure that the National Bank loan to the BEL Workers Union the 35 million needed to buy out Fortis 33 1/3% in BEL and have it be one truly national-owned company with the government controlling majority shares and the workers being the minority shareholder in that company.
That's right.
Now, BTL, the same holds true, right? The workers should own that company. But of course, a trust fund is set up that, you know, the life on trust 125 years. For 125 years, the workers now have no say in who will be directors there because the government of the day will still be selecting the directors instead of Michael Ashcroft. Now, if the workers were to get that loan and pay that money through the National Bank again, because they want to start one national bank, well, there's a reason for a national bank, you know, to ensure the productive sector and labor is respected.
That's right.
So we're saying that when the owners take control of these entities, the profits are not going to be expatriated. The profits will be held here in Belize and help to grow our local economy. ASR again, I'm sure, we said, no, I like hearing this. But we have always supported the sugarcane farmers and the workers owning ASR. Which they had a plan to do. And had they gotten ownership, they wouldn't have had to had no tax concession given to them the way ASR has 10 years that they won't be paying any taxes. So we call this one sample of the lease because we've gone over time. And as I said, when I go impromptu, we could do it all day. But at the ending of it, we're available for interviews, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, for 34 days, like Bob said. Business dip on the back burner because we have to roll up with sleeve and be prepared for any chance encounter by the media, because we know, and I like give you a lot of airtime, right? I mean, let's be real. ONU needed to fix this problem because when on the right we are and then report we in the media or record this press conference and selectively pick where I help UDP for that station or selectively pick where I help PUP for the other station, when not do justice to the democracy. The independent media, they want key part of a functional democracy. And when the individuals that come and record these things go back to their bosses, the editors, and the editors say, scratch that out. That one hurt the party. You see where we're heading with this, right? So I'm saying, I'm making a personal appeal to you all.
So we're recording our own.
Personal appeal. Record and put out there so that people could make their own determination if what we're talking is sense or nonsense. But do not selectively take portions of what we say and put one spin out there to facilitate some, idea that you want to leave in the voter head, that we are insignificant. There's nothing insignificant about this third movement. What is insignificant is the fact that money does not have to play a role in us being elected, all right? We've never, ever thought that we will need money to win. We've always said we need a message and we need time. And I'm gonna close with that. We've got our message and we got time. So that when we're ready for change, we will be here waiting to effect that change for you please. I thank
you. Just one quick last statement. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday the name was chosen at midday. We break for lunch. And we started designing our flag and our logo. We sent off the information to the press a little before 5 o'clock. So forgive us that the t-shirt have a small spelling error. Yeah. Those are those sample shirts. Those are sample shirts. We will fix that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so when you cover the news, don't highlight that, right?
That's what you're that is what comes on.
That's one of the things Patrick was talking about. Now we're going to open the floor to questions.
Let's just say it was Belizean printed, and it's human to her.
I open the floor to questions and discussions. If anyone.
Yes, sir. Jules Vasquez from Channel 7. First of all, Mr. Public Relations, Mr. Leslie, did you all feel it incumbent on you all to have all men at the head table? Isn't that an indication that the status quo prevails in this party in terms of the sexual limitation on women? Yes, you have one candidate out of, I believe it's 12 that is a woman, but the symbolism of having all men at the table immediately tells half the population that what the campaign manager made an appeal to businessmen and the big boys, that really, while you all are open from a political perspective, from a sexual perspective, there is still a limitation on women.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jules. I want to congratulate you. I think you may have not heard when the MC mentioned that our treasurer is a lady, our deputy chair is a lady. I want to say that the deputy treasurer said, I will stay back because what I have to do is critical. And so I want to say that she stayed back to register the name Belize Progressive Party because we know somebody will try some mischief.
And she just texted to confirm confirm that he has it
And she
registered.
just texts that it is registered now, and we can go to the bank, and we can open an account. And she would have been at the head table. She would have been at the head table. I want to say that every meeting we've held, Miss Jennifer Arzu, who is in the diaspora right now visiting, is on with us by Skype. And she inputted into a lot of the decisions. She would have been right here at the head table. So for you to call that out, man, it shows your train of thought. I'll leave it at that.
My train of thought is to challenge you, sir.
And we appreciate it. And we appreciate it.
Don't, but I will continue nonetheless. The Belize Popular Party, for those of us who have...
You see, twist it again.
Progressive, sorry.
You see that again, your train of thought.
Because I'm trying not to reach on the shirt, you see. Otherwise, I may mispronounce it.
You're going to be listening.
Sir, there was in 1992, for those of us who have any memory, political memory, BPP, a Belize Progressive Party, involving Louis Sylvester, Eugene Beeks, Fred Hunter, and a couple other names that I can't recall offhand. Are you all aware that there was a BPP in 92, 93? And is there any, is there awareness of that?
I went to the registry yesterday. I submitted the application. The clerk went into the system to see that it did not exist.
And it didn't.
It does not exist. And so this morning, the name was registered. We have no affiliation, no dealings. You don't see Mr. Louis Sylvester, bless his soul, may he rest in peace here. You don't see Mr. Fred Hunter here. You don't see any of those affiliated here at the head table or any in the front row. So I say this again, the name came from a submission to the public in our commitment to inclusivity and participatory democracy, and that is how it was derived. It was a leap of faith and nothing less, and we feel that the divine placed that name in our hearts to make sure that we will progress this nation. We will take it forward.
Sir, are you all able to say why we have some of the leading names who people would think might be in a third party? Do you think of Audrey Matura Shepherd, Giovanna Brackett, Mr. Sorry? Nancy Marin, Sir Paul Morgan, who did exceptionally. Linton McKenzie, I think he did great in the tongue board down south. He ran for mayor, right? Am I right? Blues, Linton, right? Okay. So we think of Mr. Okeke, got 350 votes against all odds. When he ran for mayor, I think more than Paco. No? How did it go, Paco? Close, though.
Check the stats, man. Check the stats.
Check the stats. I can't remember everything, but I'm just saying a lot of names that are out there who we might have thought would lend themselves to being in this movement are not here today, or names are not said. Are these people being recruited?
Doors are open, Jules.
Okay.
You're welcome. We have been reaching out. The party leader have been, that's his job to reach out to people.
Well, I would think that in a normal course you would have certainly reached out to your former attorney, Audrey Matura Shepherd. Did she reject?
The fact of the matter is, Jules, that everybody reach where we're at in their own time. Now there's a need for activism in this country, which is where most of us started out as activists. But then you realize at some point, you know, that we have to go the other level because activism only goes so far. So there are certain people that you called out there that I would like to think are still at the level of activists. You know, they haven't matured to the level of seeing the social capital they've built from their activism being one easy thing to convert to political power. So I'm saying, every election, from now until I draw my last breath, Jules, as I'm sure that commitment is here from every other member at the front row and at this table, we will be on the ballot. If not ourselves, if younger lion or lionesses steps up. Expect to see us, these very faces that you see here, every time our election bell ring, especially at the national level. Especially at the national level. Because only at the national level can we really implement meaningful change to this country. So yes, we would have loved to have every one of their names on the call out there on board with us here today. We have reached out to them. Had the Prime Minister not done a wrong thing and called the election 3 years and 8 months early, we would have had sufficient time to engage each of them people you call, the ones that we hadn't reached to us yet, and see where they're at, to see if they're willing to sit here with a Labour Party for this country. If they are of a liberal inclination, then of course that would explain why they wouldn't be here with us.
And so now you mentioned the trade union movement and that it is essentially a Labour
Yes,
Party.
you know the Prime Minister getting at the end of the hand of back, right? That they so divided. I'm telling you, Jules, if you don't know that, the Prime Minister have the unions from 2005, which you're well aware. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So, but then,
Can we have anybody else? We have other media hosts.
this happened every press conference.
Okay, I know, that's why I'm just asking, because we don't want, no, but we want to give fair, we want to give others a fair treatment. You shouldn't dominate it for,
I asked them first. I asked them first to go first.
But
So
I
I come
respect
back.
them, give them time.
But then when I asked them so if they want to
No,
go.
but it's fine.
Just want to make sure.
Well, we try to be fair.
But remember, then
We know that's the way
you
you, we know that's the way you are.
Good. Mr. Party Leader, did you all reach out to the unions
Yes.
specifically, and they don't want to be
Let me share this
involved?
with you, Jules.
Sure.
Every month, we are invited by NTUCB to do presentations from 10 to 12. We have lunch with them, we leave after lunch, and they make their determination based on the new information we give to them. So we have identified the union as our strategic partner, and we explain to them we don't want to get burned by PUP, I don't want to get burned by UDP, I know that like one woman we're unafraid for man now, but we have to support because only with phone help we will be able to win this thing and make the change that we need. So yes, we've been courting the unions very hard, and maybe come October 15, 16, we may yet have 3, 4, 5 union candidates step up. All right, I mean, we're actually praying for that. They're not short of praying, because we do a lot of praying, and we have seen where a lot of our prayers have been answered in the manifestation of the beliefs.
And when you all have more candidates?
Certainly, that is our commitment, Belize, that if we reach to 20 or more.
When?
Well,
When we reach.
we're saying, I'm being realistic because, in 2 weeks, a lot of wives have to get consulted, a lot of husbands need to be consulted. And not a decision we make on our own. We're family people. And if our spouse is against it, we have to. Yes, so I'm saying that if we reach to that critical mass number, certainly we can have one open election for the party leader. As it stands right now, as of yesterday, we huddled and said, well, we have to go without pro tem. So I was actually selected to be the political leader, dropping the pro tem, but it was too late to change really. Flyers going to get handed out there. So I'm officially political leader, and Brother Will as the deputy, and it's not pro tem until such time as we find the need to elect from a wider body if it does emerge.
So, okay, so but theoretically, in the voters' mind and in the public's mind, you would be the person that we say, you for Prime Minister.
Well, if you want to put it like that, Jules, you could go ahead then. Yeah. No, because we are not like the PUDP. I mean, as I said, our structure is very different. I do not, and I will never hold the power of a party leader as you know it. I'm a political leader as it is penned in our constitution, and I don't even get to vote at the executive meetings.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else want to go?
Everybody afraid of
No, I'm saying because.
Sir, and then I wanted to ask about, is it your greatest hope that you all would be able to perhaps get, since it is hard to perhaps to get 16 people elected, 16 newcomers, relative newcomers, would it then be your greatest hope to try and create enough ways that you all could end up as someone with whom one of the other parties would have to form a coalition after the election to form the government?
It's not our greatest hope, but it's something we've had under consideration. It's not our greatest hope. You want to hear our greatest hope, Belize? We hope that when we die, this movement lifts up. We want to picnic away with it. That is our greatest hope.
We're in this for the long haul, Jules.
Okay, and so now the Belize Unity Alliance no longer exists? Or
I am no longer the chairman, so I really don't know if anyone else wants to take up the chairmanship.
Okay, and then I just want to be clear, the names that...
It accomplishes objective.
I see. We the People, VIP, and...
Former members of
Former
the
members, I just want, this
Yeah.
is the PNP,
Yeah.
We the People, and VIP.
Yeah.
Former members.
Former members. Okay, and the color of the
some
party is
independent
green?
and all and
Green.
independent who want to come on board. The
A lot of
doors are
these-
open and it's
A
green.
lot of these gentlemen were not affiliated at all. Independent persons stepping up.
Mr. Gacho right here,
Independent.
independent.
The lady had no previous political affiliation. Independent farmer woman stepping up. Yes, we recognize and we appreciate these gentlemen from We the People because they are who we sat with as young boys.
Yeah.
And I looked up to these gentlemen here for my political education, and I hold you all in greatest respect, and I've always said that We the People, we hold you in highest esteem. Glad to have you as now as one.
If there are no other questions,
In relation to this timeline, which is very, very reduced, yet you've said that 5 weeks is a lot. You say you only have 15,000 to run with. Just tell us a little bit more as to how exactly you do expect to get that $500,000 or less that you want to work with or have established as needing to work with.
Well, let's just say we do have 15,000 right now. We have 12 candidates. Was there my count? 11? 11 candidates. So we can handsomely, very humbly, give these candidates some starting resources, cash resources for them to jump and get going. I assure you, just as we always easily raise $25,000 in Belmopan, I have many business associates who I'll be calling on today and during the course of the coming days. And I know that monies will be coming in, not big monies, less than $10,000 portions will be coming in. I have faith. I honestly have faith that that will happen. But I have put in my first $5,000 already.
But you know that takes work to get the money coming in, and then you will have that money.
I think one of my colleagues at the table said, this is 24/7. We went to bed at 2 o'clock this morning. I got up at 3:30. My wife told me your eyes and start get blue underneath. You know what? It is what it is. I will make the sacrifice. I will make the sacrifice because I'm telling you, I am very concerned when my son says that he doesn't want to have kids to raise them in this country. What kind of future, he told me. My son, I'm telling you, the student I spoke to who comes back to this country as a doctor from Cuba said, Mr. Lopez, I don't know when I'll have a lot, much less a house. So I want to reach out because it is in our land policy reform. Heading the land policy reform, I want to hear and I want you to read my lips, Belizeans. Upon reaching the age of 18 and registering to vote, because we want participation from our young people when you reach 18, get in there and make it. Not have to support we. Maybe you might want to run yourself. You will have a title to a lot somewhere in this country. And we don't say that with any reservations. You're entitled to have a lot in this country. Every 18-year-old and over. This progressive party will ensure that. And we will not have the big land grabbing of thousands of acres. When you drive outside of Orange Walk and you say, who this one for? Oh, that's for one of the ruling party ministers, and he's doing a big subdivision. The 18-year-old can't go in there and buy. And all the land grabbing taking place by this administration and the previous PUPs. Well, guess what? We're going to tax you all on those till you turn from being a speculator to being a social person, knowing that every child wants a lot in this country.
Will there be a manifesto?
We are working on a policy. We don't like the word manifesto because it leaves a bad taste. a bad taste because people know that manifestos for the last 34 years have been unbroken promises that only benefit the party supporters. So no, we won't be calling it a manifesto. In our previous affiliated entity, we used to call it a direction. We used to call it a vision plan. We will probably be calling this a progressive plan.
Because I heard you mention that you do have a constitution.
Yes.
But is it completed? Because certain things as a convention and so would have had to be in
We
there.
have the basic needs in our constitution to direct an executive and those what it needed to get us here.
Okay.
It's been ratified by us to get us to this point. In other words, we added certain things like the ex officio members of myself and the campaign manager and the public relations, again non-voting. Let me explain to you. It took years to develop the constitution that we have adopted, and we gave out freely, you know. We gave a copy to the PNP to help him get together. We gave a copy to Nancy Marin. We gave a copy to Audrey Matura. We've been meeting with Mr. Audrey, by the way, guys. We welcome her advice. You've seen her at our head table right at this because this is our favorite spot, you know. For $72, you can have a conference here. Go to Biltmore and it's $600. Go to Chateau, it's $400. Go to the Radisson, it's even more. So we want to say how much we appreciate having this establishment. And we want to add one more word when we take over, when we run and serve this country. BIM will become Belize Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship. And we're going to give them all the support they need to raise entrepreneurs.
Mr. Rogers.
Last question.
Last two questions.
I know the time frame.
Sir, you're running as party leader. I mean, you've been established as a party leader. Do you feel added pressure in terms of securing your constituency seat? Maybe you, as other people have done, talk about your opponents and beating those opponents. And then, two, if you were to, in fact, gain seats, if the people were to give you that power, you would be new in terms of governance. Tell us how you would address that.
Excellent question, Mr. Maya. The truth of the matter is that there's so much unknown variables for us that we cannot plan properly until we have more known variables. But direct answer to your question is that no, I do not feel any added pressure. The fact of the matter is that I'm no rookie at this. I did my first run at 2003. I ran again 2008. I thought I was the problem in 2012, so I sat down. I realized I wasn't the problem, so I'm back here. But I'm back here with more vigor. I'm back here with more passion. And I'm back here with one commitment that is unwavering, which is why my brothers and sisters saw it fit to select me as their political leader, because they understand this that till the final victory. Until I draw my last breath, I will be here as one of the leaders in the independent movement in this country. We want one debate, Marshall. That's not what the media should have called for. Jules, you want to send that to the top office? Yeah. I'm ready for that debate. Seriously, I am. Francis Fonseca, I'd call you up. Dean Barrow, I'd call you up. Let's discuss beliefs. Let's discuss the real issues. Not talk lie. We call it. That answer your question, Ms. Amaya.
If you were to win in terms of governance and being new at
The house won't turn into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. You ever saw that show, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? You know, take a lot of BS, you know. Here, make sure that the discourse in the house, the level is raised. Because I want to keep reminding the speaker, this is not what I came here for. And whenever there's anything, as I said, that you all need to know, I won't get it out to them. So that would be immediate change in how things are being done. If one of us are elected, you don't have to be me. Any one of we, it would be the same result, because that one would have the support of everybody else. So that all of we win when one of we win. Thanks, everybody.
Different. These win,
thanks for
All of
saying
it.
that.
All of it, yeah, I believe
As a
all of it.
collective. But we know we want to respect the media. We know we don't have any midday news and things like that. We welcome the opportunity for you want to leave media time, you know, free interviews and things, talk show. We're available. Sounding not shun, we're without no lepers. With a Belizeans with one good heart, we have one message. We're very positive that people should be here. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Good job, good job.
Someone, if you wanted to come.
I won't be here.
You have my
I call 1 week before. Individual